Hear the sex lady? She's a man-hater. Pay attention. Girls, I have had the privilege of traveling this country. I have been in towns, cities, high schools, youth conferences, universities, all over this nation. And in every school I've been in, every state, every city. And girls, I believe that tonight is as true as every other night I've stood before an audience. I have met amazing young men. I know that sitting in this room tonight are young men with integrity, boys with character, girls, boys who do care about you. The kind of boy, if you were to date him, would look at you and say, I do love you, and you matter. And you know what? I might be able to walk away from sex with you without permanent damage, but you might not. And because I love you so much, because you matter so much, I would never ask you to put your life on the line, your ability to have children, your future, your self-respect on the line to meet my momentary need. I would never pressure, demand, hurt, take, and walk. I care way too much about you for that. There are boys with that kind of integrity. Ladies, I married one. Unfortunately, as just a small word of warning, especially for our freshman girls who will date anything that walks. And you know who you are. And we know who you are because you're dating senior boys who can't get a girl their own age to touch them with a 10-foot pole. No one will date him. Then we'll have some stupid freshman girl's mother going, oh, my daughter must be popular because the seniors like her. Duh. As a small word of warning, girls, there have always been and there always will be boys who don't care. And as long as they don't get hurt in the long run, sweetheart, they're going to say all the words. And I have heard that in Wisconsin, they're good at it. I love you. Well, everybody else is doing it. If you want some freshmen, I'll die. He's not going to die, and nothing will fall off. He will actually live. And real love respects. Love does not pressure, damage, hurt, take, and walk. Girls, love would never ask you to do something that could damage you for the rest of your life. That's not love. Girls ask me this every day. Boys never ask this. Girls ask me this daily. Well, how would I know if it's love? How would I know if he loved me? He said it. My heart's pounding. He's cute. Girls, there's only one way you will ever know if that boy loves you. One way. Put a boundary down. Say this far and no further, and watch for respect. You don't have love without respect. It's not possible. I get hundreds of emails from the boys, because boys are all writing me all the time, these high school boys. Well, you're up there making it sound like all the boys are trying to get girls to have sex with them, and all the girls are just sweet and innocent. No, please don't. Stop. Have you even been on a high school campus ever? Yes, I have. Pam, have you seen girls today? They're so aggressive. Have you seen the way the girls in Wisconsin dress now? Just take me now. What was I supposed to do? She started it. She seduced me, Pam. I was being a man of integrity. I said no, it was her. Boys, can I say something to you? And I've said this to my kids so much. My older kids, they used to, when we talk about this, do this. They're starting to get it in college. And in fact, when I started putting this into my talk to high school students, my college kids said that you were too young, that you wouldn't get this. But I already sat down with my 8th grader and started this conversation right here. And one of the reasons I spent a lot of time with it with my other two is because I don't read boys well. Teenage boys can fool me. Which is why when my daughter was in high school, she was not allowed to date any boy her brother did not approve of. Her brother was in that school, he was in the locker room. I wanted to know what he had to say about that boy's character. I did not need my daughter's help with the girls. I can walk onto any high school campus in this nation, give me 20 minutes and a mic, and I will show you the girls who are going to struggle for the rest of their lives. I can point them out, which is why my son didn't date much in high school. No. There will be no way. Boys, it's all cute fun to talk about what girl you're going to take to homecoming. Isn't that a whole lot of cute high school fun? It takes a tremendous amount of maturity for a young man to grow up enough to ask himself a tougher question. Who do I want to be the mother of my children? Different question. High school boys, college kids say to me all the time, well, I'm going to sleep around now and have sex with whatever girl's stupid enough to have sex with me when we're teenagers. But when I get married, I don't want that girl that slept with half the football team. Then I would like a virgin. Why in the world would a virgin ever want you? Why would someone who's respected themselves ever in a million years want you? Students, here's what I'm going to say that's going to go over most of your heads, which is why I'm glad your parents are here. Because your parents are mature enough and have seen this enough to know what I'm talking about. Some of you high school students are mature enough to understand this. If you are not, I hope that an adult will say this to you until you're old enough to get it. This is probably the most important thing I'll say all night, right here. Opposites might attract when it comes to personality. Opposites never attract when it comes to character. You are going to get exactly what you are, every time. You're going to get exactly what, you think you can be a player? This is a big game. You can sleep around, have sex with all these people, and someday you're going to put a white dress on or a tux on and put a magic ring on your finger, and now you're going to be able to control what you couldn't control before? What, do you think we have magic discipline fairies at the altar? What is that? Oh, but I have a magic ring. I won't cheat because of this. Please. Past behavior predicts future behavior. You're screwing around now, you're going to do it later. Good morning. And then they think, oh, but he'll be faithful to me because I'm so pretty. Within 3 years, they're cheating on each other, running to the pastor going, I can't believe he cheated. Duh. We're all shocked. They were doing it before they walked the aisle. They're going to do it after. I get so sad when kids come up to me and say, you know what, Pam, I'm not going to wait. Everybody's doing it. I'm not going to wait to have sex until I'm married because I'll never find someone else who waited. I'll never find a spouse who waited. Really? You want to guarantee it? Sleep around. Because you're going to get exactly what you are. Boys, there will always be girls. Someday it will be women. This is not a teenage problem, in case you haven't seen Desperate Housewives recently. There will always be women who will throw themselves at you. Let's go 10 years down the road. You've married this awesome, beautiful, lovely girl. You got 2 wonderful children. Your job takes you on the road. I know what that's like. I'm in hotels 14 nights a month. You're tired, exhausted. You've had a long day. You go down to the restaurant bar. You're watching the Vikings beat the Packers. I know, dream world. We're in fantasy land. You're watching the game, minding your own business, and some woman walks up and throws herself at you. Gonna call your wife later and say, sorry, honey, but she started it. She was aggressive. You should have seen how she was dressed. I didn't know they dressed like that at Hooters. I went for the wings. Not gonna fly in your house, boys? Because I'm flying mine. Boys, can I have your mom for just a minute tonight? Young men, please hear me. If there is a girl throwing herself at you, if this girl is pressuring you for sex, if what you're telling me is true, and this is one of those girls who's dressing in that manner that's saying to you and every other boy in the county, take me now. Little word of advice, boys, run from this girl, run away. I did not say walk, I said run from her. Let me tell you about this girl. I know her well. I've had this little girl in my clinic for 15 years. This is a little girl who's bought the lie of a culture that has told her what makes her valuable is her body. So in order to feel good about herself, she needs to turn your head, sweetheart. And when she is done turning yours, she's going to need to turn his, and then 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 his. And this will not end when she's 18, 20, 25, 30, 35, or 40. This is a lifelong problem. Who do you want to be the mother of your children? Young men here tonight, hear me carefully. The respect and integrity you show every girl in your world, in your school, in your church, in your family, the respect, boys, that you show the girls right here, that is the trust you will hand your wife someday. And if you cannot be respectful of women now, what in the world makes you think a wedding ring will fix that? Girls, the respect and integrity you show yourself and every boy in your circle, by the way you dress, by the way you chat, by the way you talk about what you're doing with your friends, that is the trust you will hand your husband someday. Pretty white dresses and flowers do not fix this. All of this behavior will start right here. Then there's herpes. Won't spend time on it. Herpes is a virus. You get it, you got it forever. You're going to give it to your spouse someday, no cure. Herpes isn't going to kill you. However, if you're a female with herpes, ladies, and you want to have a child, you will need a C-section. Girls, you give this virus to your child during vaginal delivery, it will kill your child. Fatal to infants, not you. Herpes is basically just sores and boils on your genital area that reoccur periodically throughout your life. Now, there's medication we can give you for the sores. Won't cure the virus. Once you've got it forever, and you're going to give it to everybody else. But we can give you some medication for the sores. So many people in our country have herpes now. We have so many people infected with this virus that the medication for herpes sores, Valtrex, is big business. We now have to endure commercials. You see them? I'm watching TV with my boys, minding my own business. This beautiful model jumps off the bike. I have genital herpes. There's medication you can take for those sores on your genital area. It may cause nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting. Birds are singing beautiful music. There's a waterfall. They're riding bikes. I don't know how. And I'm watching this going, she's gorgeous, people. I'm going down to Walgreens later and asking for herpes because she's got it and she's cute. I want my days to be my days. I'd like herpes. Let's all get herpes. It'll be awesome. I was standing waiting for the hotel van to pick me up at the airport today. And this guy starts talking to me and, oh, what do you do for a living? Speaker. Who do you talk to? Teenagers. What about? Sex. I made some comment. He blatantly, sitting outside the Green Bay airport, tells me that his friend just found out he had herpes. Everybody's got herpes. I'm well aware. Stay over there. I know. You want to know how many people have herpes, students? Parents? Want to know? If you are 12 or older, and that should be most of us here tonight, if you are 12 or older, 1 in 5 people in the United States over 12 is now infected with herpes. 1 out of 5. Not the most common virus. Next one is. Number 1 STD in the United States, Wisconsin, right here in this crowd. Number 1 STD among everyone sitting here today is human papillomavirus, HPV. This is also a virus. What does that mean? No cure. You got it forever. You're going to give it to everyone you have sex with after infection. Not only the most common STD, the most contagious sexually transmitted disease we know. Street name for human papillomavirus, or HPV, is genital warts. Basically warts on your genital area that need to be burned off periodically, either through laser surgery or chemicals. Now, we used to think that was the only big deal. Get a few warts, burn them off, not a problem. Until we realize a few things about the virus. Number 1 is this: you can have it and be giving it to other people without ever having warts. In fact, the most cancerous strains, teenagers, parents hear this, I'm coming back to it, there are over 100 strains of this virus. The most cancerous strains don't produce warts at all. Teenagers are not infecting each other with this because you mean to. You don't mean to. You don't know you have it. Girls, if you do get warts or lesions as a result of being infected with the virus, typically, ladies, they will be on your cervix. When was the last time you saw your cervix? Had an 8th grade boy in Detroit look up at me and go, I don't know. I said, you don't have one, honey, breathe. Junior high boys, the cervix is the opening to the uterus, and you don't have one of those either. And that is not a part of your body you can see. I know when I say genital warts that I got teenagers sitting in here who've had sex who in your mind are doing this. Well, she said that wart thing, and I have never seen a wart down there. I don't have that. My friend, if you've had sex or sexual contact, and I will define that in a minute, and you have not been specifically tested by a doctor for this virus, in males, that's a blood test that costs in excess of $1,000. There is not a free clinic in this nation that will ever test a boy for this virus, and not an insurance company that will pay for it done. We don't test boys for this. It's a horribly expensive blood test that is completely inaccurate. It could take 5 years from the time a boy is infected before he would ever test positive on our test. And yet we have boys saying stuff like this to girls. I don't have anything. I got tested. For what? And how much did it cost you? And I sure hope it's been 5 years since you last had sex. Students, STD testing cannot tell you what you don't have. We can tell no one what they don't have. And yet we have teenagers thinking they can have sex on Friday night, run to a clinic and tell people that they don't have a disease simply because they got tested? Come on. We do test girls for this. It's done in every free clinic.